Have you ever had someone be really confused about what your job is? You introduce yourself, you tell them what you do, and they kind of have a look of confusion on their face and say, "What do you do? Explain that again for me." I'm Nate from Navigator Bookkeeping, and I've been talking to some friends and family lately and people at networking events, and I introduce myself as a bookkeeper, and they say, "Oh, that's cool. What is that? What do you do? Are you a CPA? Can you do my taxes? Are you a financial advisor?" And usually I say, no, not really. It's not really any of those things. So I wanted to come on here and give a quick definition of what I think bookkeepers are and what they do, because I think those are good questions. I think they're hard questions and questions that a lot of people have. So my quick definition of what bookkeepers are is they're people who come alongside small businesses and they help them make more money and spend less money, which sounds like a great combination, right? But it doesn't really help us with the definition. So that's what bookkeepers do, but what are they? Well, bookkeepers have been around for a really long time. I read that they've been around even since 2300 BC, keeping track of transactions on clay tablets. Now, if we think about the more recent past, we think about people with green visors and pocket protectors huddled over like big, massive journals, keeping track of all the transactions. And thankfully for me and bookkeepers worldwide, that is not the case anymore. We have software, we have technology, we have the cloud, where a lot of bookkeeping is able to happen now. So what bookkeepers do in the most basic sense is they keep track of the money coming in and out of the company so that the business owner has a good idea of how much money they have, how much they're spending, and then they can make decisions based off of that. Now, to go back to the CPA question, bookkeepers and CPAs are different. Now, a bookkeeper could be a CPA, but usually they're not. CPAs do a lot more of the tax side of things for a business. So they're going to do your year-end taxes. They're going to talk about any refunds you might get or things like that. So they're going to be kind of your tax professional. And really, if you're a small business owner, you should have both a CPA and a bookkeeper. And I'd say that's almost non-negotiable. You have to have both. The CPA is going to tackle all the tax questions for you. If you get audited or something like that, they are going to be the authority. They're going to have the answers there. And the bookkeeper is more of the day-to-day person. They're the person day-to-day working with the business owner, keeping them informed of how the finances are going, making sure the money's going where it needs to go, and making sure that everything is kind of set on that side of things. So since bookkeepers have technology at their disposal, which is great, I thought of 4 roles that bookkeepers take on, and I think there's more than this too. But these are 4 main roles that they do besides kind of the basic keeping track of the transactions that I wanted to talk about to kind of give a better sense of what bookkeepers do as well. So the first one I thought of is budgeting and setting up budgets. Bookkeepers can be your budgeter. Budgets kind of have a bad perception in the business world. A lot of people don't use them. A lot of people think they're really tedious and they're a lot of work, and that's really not the case. They're actually pretty easy to set up, and your bookkeeper can help you set up a budget for yourself, and then that's really going to help you set goals for your business, and honestly, it's going to save you a ton of money in the long run. So that's the first role. Second role they can do is document manager. If you are a business owner, you probably have receipts laying around somewhere. Hopefully they're not in a shoebox, but if they're sitting in a shoebox in the closet somewhere, that's fine, because your bookkeeper can take those, they can help you organize them, and they can use that technology again to make it a lot more automated, save you a lot of time, and you will have all your receipts and documents all set to go for tax time or for an audit or for anything like that. So that's the second role. Third role I thought of is communicator. As a business owner, you obviously have a ton of people to talk to. Your clients, your employees, your CPA, your bookkeeper, your attorney, all kinds. There's many more. Well, your bookkeeper can actually take on some of those roles for you. So instead of you having to be the middleman between, say, your CPA and your CPA and your bookkeeper can just have a relationship and communicate without you having to be the middleman between the two. And bookkeepers can help you communicate in a lot of other ways too. Once again, it's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of effort, so you don't have to worry about communicating with all these different people on your team, but you can worry about the important thing, which is running your business, of course. And the fourth role I thought of is being an advisor. So since that bookkeeper is going to be day-to-day working on your finances with you, they're going to have a really good idea of what's going on in your finances. They can really be an advisor for you when you're making those tough decisions. Decisions like, do I have enough money to expand my practice? Can I hire 2 more employees? Do I have enough money to give out this bonus that I want to do? Or, even should I cut costs in this place or this place, or should I try to market myself differently in this way? Your bookkeeper is going to have a wealth of experience, but also they're just going to have a really good idea of your finances because they are literally day to day going in there looking at your finances, and they're going to have a really good picture of what's going on with your business. So they're going to be a good person to talk to whenever you're doing any decision making. Whenever you have advice, they can hopefully answer your questions, or at least find someone to answer your questions. So that's the fourth role. Now, like I said, there's more roles that bookkeepers do. Those are just four main ones that I thought of that I think are really helpful to business owners. And hopefully now you have a little bit better idea of what bookkeepers do, so that next time someone says, hey, I'm a bookkeeper, you can say, oh, wow, I actually know what that is and how awesome they actually are. If you have any questions or comments, or if someone wasn't sure about what your career was and you explained it, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it.